Is it your first time as Toastmaster for an I'll Drink to That meeting? Don't sweat! This chapter of Mentor in a Box provides you with a basic foundation on how to create and run an effective meeting at I'll Drink to That Toastmasters. Now, there is a lot of material to cover, so we're going to break everything down into 3 separate episodes. The first episode is about what you should do when preparing for the meeting. The second episode demonstrates how transition statements help when running your meeting. The third episode gives pointers for presenting awards and wrapping up the meeting. As a Toastmaster of an I'll Drink to That Toastmaster meeting, you should be aware of some basic rules. For example, the meeting will be divided into 3 parts. The first part we refer to as Ballroom Topics, traditionally known as the Table Topics section in other clubs. The second part is for prepared speeches. The third part is for the evaluation portion of the meeting. Your duty as a Toastmaster is to ensure the meeting runs smoothly and on time. An easy way to ensure you give yourself the best chance of doing so is by preparing for the meeting well in advance. Here are 3 quick steps you can take to prepare for the meeting. 1. Verify all the roles of your meeting are filled. 2. Create the agenda. And 3. Create transition statements. The first step is pretty easy to do. You have a list of those assigned to the meeting from the club's Vice President of Education. But life happens, and of course things don't always go as planned. So it's good practice to ensure everyone who is scheduled to attend can in fact attend. Wait until the week of the meeting, usually the Monday before, and then begin verifying each of the roles are filled. By telephone, by email, by text, whatever is the best way to confirm with each of the members. This is not something you do alone. The General Evaluator will help you contact members of your meeting. Traditionally, the Toastmaster should contact those assigned to be the opening toast, the educational moment, the Ballroom Topics Master, the speakers, and the General Evaluator. The General Evaluator will then in turn contact the evaluators for each of the speakers, the grammarian, the yaw counter, the timer, and the vote counter. As you're verifying each of the roles, remind those who are participating that if for any reason they cannot attend at the last moment, they must find the replacement and notify you of that replacement ASAP. So far so good? Alright, let's move on to step 2. Create the agenda. An agenda is a great way to have your audience follow along with your meeting. They know what to expect, they know who's in each role, and they know there's a plan to be followed. You may even have copies of agendas from past meetings. Being that this is your first time as Toastmaster, don't reinvent the wheel. Feel free to borrow the format of those agendas. Clearly label the names of Toastmasters assigned to each role, the president of the meeting, and of course, give yourself credit as Toastmaster. As a recommendation, for this time around, try to stay away from using a themed meeting. You need to ensure you're comfortable with running a basic Toastmaster meeting before you begin enhancing a basic Toastmaster meeting. So think about dividing your agenda like you'll be dividing your meeting, into 3 basic parts. The first part is for Ballroom Topics, the second part is for prepared speeches, the third part is for the evaluation portion. Make sure you have enough agendas for each of the members and potential guests. When you're finished creating your agenda, print roughly 30 copies to distribute to be on the safe side. So let's go back to preparing your meeting. You've taken 2 steps up to this point. You verified all the roles of your meeting are filled, and you've created the agenda. The third and final step is creating transition statements. Remember, your duty as a Toastmaster is to ensure the meeting runs smoothly and on time. Creating transition statements in advance provides launching points throughout your meeting and helps you move it along. To be effective in your role as Toastmaster, you will need at least 9 transition statements in your meeting. We will talk more about this in the next episode.